Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to our lecturers. So my name is SYAZWANI, and today we will be presenting our project 2, which is portfolio assessment. So for this portfolio, we made sure that every task is meaningful, relevant and suitable for lower intermediate ESL learners. So each task includes 3 main components, which is an activity descriptions, a holistic rubric, and a justification based on validity and reliability. So by using one consistent theme, which is food and culture, we wanted to create assessment that feel connected and more enjoyable for students. Okay, so why we choose food and culture? We choose the theme food and culture because it is something very close to students' daily life. Students can talk about their favorite foods, dishes from their culture, the learning process more personal and engaging. Another reason is that Malaysia is a multicultural country, so food is a great way to introduce cultural appreciation. Through this theme, students learn to respect difference and understand how food represents identity, tradition, and family, and it also helps them use descriptive vocabulary like taste, smell, texture, ingredients, and preparation methods, which match the CEFRA to B1 level. So for the first task, which is listening assessment, the student will listen to 1 to 2 audio about traditional foods and their culture. So for example, the audio may mention foods like nasi lemak, sushi, or tteokbokki. In the audio, students hear details such as ingredients, cultural background, and when the food is usually eaten. So after listening, they answer multiple choices questions like true or false item and a sequencing task. This activity trains them to catch important details while listening. So I use a holistic rubric because this listening task is short and focuses mainly on overall comprehensions, and the scoring levels range from excellent to core, and the descriptors explain how well students understood the audio based on their overall performance instead of breaking it into separate parts. So holistic rubrics are practical for listening tasks because they help teachers mark quickly and consistently. Form 3 students sometimes struggle with listening, so keeping the rubrics simple reduces their stress and makes the task more accessible. So this rubric is still valid because it measures exactly what the task is supposed to measure, which is understanding of the audio. It also reliable because the performance levels are clear, so different teachers will probably give the same score.
Okay, so moving on to my part, which is the reading task. So this task for this assessment, the students were given a short information passage about the 3 traditional foods from different cultures. So the next included details like the origins of the dishes, the ingredients, and how they are prepared, and what they represent in each culture. So after reading the passage, the students need to answer the different type of comprehension questions, such as multiple choices, true or false, vocabulary in context, matching, and short response. So this task was designed for Form 3 students, and it aligns with the SEFR A2 to B1 level, where the learners can read simple text and identify main ideas and important details. So the reason I choose this reading activity is because it exposes the students to cultural knowledge from around the world, and it also helps them to practice essential reading skills such as identifying main ideas, spotting the key details, making the inference, and understanding vocabulary from the context from the text. So the food and culture theme makes the reading more meaningful and relatable to the students so they can better connect with the content. By using an analytical rubric, the scoring becomes more fair and reliable since we evaluate different aspects of reading separately.
For the third skills, the writing assessment, students write a short descriptive paragraph about a traditional dish from their own culture. So the word limit is 120 to 150 words. Students describe the ingredients, cultural background, taste, smell, also texture, appearance, and why the dish is meaningful to them. So these tasks allow them to express themselves personally and proudly talk about their cultural identity. So the writing rubric is holistic as well. Instead of giving separate scores for grammar, vocabulary, content, and organization, this rubric evaluates the writing as a whole based on clarity, relevance, coherence, and the overall quality of the descriptions. So I selected a holistic approach because the writing task is short and the design designed for lower intermediate learners. So the holistic rubric helps teachers focus on the overall quality of the students' idea without being too strict on technical details, and it is valid for descriptive writing and reliable because the descriptors are clear and easy to interpret. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Moving on to the speaking task, each student need to choose a traditional food from their own culture or any culture they are familiar with. So then they need to describe the food, its the ingredient of the food, when it's usually eaten, and why it is meaningful to their culture. The students are given a few minutes to prepare, and then they take turn to speaking and responding to each other. So this task promotes natural communication, cultural sharing, and confidence in speaking English. Okay, so the justification of this task is the speaking activity is chosen because it creates a real life communication scenario. So the students are able to speak about something familiar to them, which help them to express their idea more confidently. The SEFR A2 to B1 level supports students in describing familiar topics in simple sentences. So the analytical rubric ensure fair scoring for fluency, pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, and interaction. So to conclude this project, we can say that all four language skills, listening, reading, writing, and speaking, were successfully assessed through activities that are meaningful and connected to the real life. By using the theme food and culture, we were able to design tasks that students can easily relate to. Because food is something familiar and enjoyable for everyone. So each task was carefully planned according to the Form 3 CEFR A2 to B1 level. So the activities were suitable for the students' abilities. And we also use analytical rubrics for every task, which help them to make the assessment clearer, fairer, and more consistent. So these rubrics allow us to evaluate different aspects of performance, such as comprehension, vocabulary, fluency, grammar, and task completion. So overall, this project shows that when assessments are well designed and are connected to something meaningful, students can learn better and they feel more confident using English in speaking. So the task did not only test their skills, but also help them appreciate culture, diversity, and express their own identity. So that is all for our report project presentation. Thank you.